came in here yesterday and I hunted on the ground over there, which proved to be a mistake because I ran the deer off. But as I was leaving, I put this stand back over here in this tree. This is the tree I killed that 8-point right there, and I killed a 6-point over there last year. So I know this is a good spot. It's like super gnarly thick behind me, kind of CRP looking out in front of me. So I have a feeling that in the next couple of hours there's going to be some pretty good deer move through here. Hopefully one of them will give me a shot. We'll see. So this stand is not a stand where you can get caught slipping and updating your Facebook or, scrolling TikTok. These deer are in heavy cover most of the time. There are some open spots where it's easier to see the deer, but a lot of times it's like this, and if you're not paying attention, these deer will get by you. So keep your phones in your pocket. Well, that's a good sign. Doe and a yearling over here about 100 yards. You would think there'd be a buck in the area. She's just wandering around. Well, they circled around downwind of me. It got right there, and my scent hit them. Alright, it's the middle of the day. I just hung this set right here. See it right there? And what you'll notice is, like, right out in here somewhere, there's a big scrape right there. Semi-fresh. And, alright, well, I don't see it now, but there was a really big rub over there. There's another big rub right over here somewhere. I found them in here yesterday when I was scouting, and that giant rub that I found was back there, and it's a straight line of rubs all the way up through this. These are like bodark trees or whatever, these horse apple trees like this. That's all that's in here, that and hackberries, a few honey locust trees. But there's honeysuckle everywhere, and that's the only food really that they've got to eat on in here. But there are scrapes on every side of this tree. There's a big rub right there. See, that one's actually at least a week older. But there's one that's super fresh just right over there, and my stand is like right there. So I've got a scrape right there. And there's another scrape over under one of those trees over there. So I'm fixing to go back to the truck, take a break, and then we're just going to see what happens between now and dark, I guess. All right, guys, it is 1:04 on Tuesday, November 26th. I went back to the truck, took a little bit of a break, had a cup of coffee there that I kept hot in the truck, and downed that sucker real quick and came back out and just went ahead and got back in the stand. I've got 4 hours until dark, And guys, it is close quarters in here. That's the furthest I can see, and it's like 50 yards. Everything else is like 30, 25. And all the buck sign is on this thick side over here, so if the deer's coming, man, it's going to be tight. It's going to be really hard to get the camera on and get a shot through all this garbage, so we'll see how it goes. I love this spot. There's not a whole lot of food in here other than honeysuckle, but it's a travel spot, and these bucks just cruise this line right here. The woods are wide open over there. I can put the stand over there, but the bucks cruising over here. All the rubs are over here, and they're big rubs. This is a big deer on this side. There is a big deer running this side. And some of the rubs are old and some of the rubs are new, and there's scrapes on both sides of the tree. So this is a sweet setup. It's pre-rut. Rut's probably going to kick in the next few days. You would think these bucks would be running these scrape lines, checking for a doe, because I saw 5 does this morning and there wasn't a buck on any one of them. So these bucks ought to be cruising these scrape lines, hoping for a hot doe to have crossed the path. So alright guys, I'm back for round 2 in this stand I was in the other day. This is the second time I've sat in it, but I brought everything I need to stay here all day. My plan is to not leave until dark or until I get a deer on the ground. So you can hear the barges out on the river. There's a tugboat right out there. Alright guys, a little late morning update. I was watching over here and that spike popped out like right here and walked right under the tree, and I'm trying to get the camera on him right here, and I look and a doe runs across way up there and runs down in here, and I don't even realize that I don't even have the record button hit on the camera, and I'm recording the spike that's standing right there, right under the tree. And then I can hear some grunting, and I looked up and there's this little basket rack deer, maybe a 7 or 8 point. Looked like the one I saw the other day on my other stand. It's about 3/4 of a mile that way. And I got the camera over on him, and then by the time he left, I looked down and I realized the red light wasn't on. I wasn't even recording any of that, but it was exciting. There was a doe that came down here and he's pushing her and grunting. The spike saw me because I'm recording him, and when I turned the camera to pan on the bigger buck, he saw it and he bolted that way. When he bolted that way, the doe bolted that way, and so I don't know if one had to do with the other or not, but all the deer are gone now. But I think there's a hot doe in here, so that's a good sign. Well, I hit the record button on that buck. He's not a lot bigger than that other deer, but a little bit. His tines are a lot longer. He's no giant, but this buck was not very far, and it's still early. There's probably more deer that's coming, so I would like to actually keep hunting. I can shoot 3 does today, but I don't want to get them out from all the way back in here. I am 2 miles from the truck. But you can see the kind of stuff these deer are in. It's really hard to see them in here if they're not like actively moving. So, not a giant deer, but not a bad one. Look how that rack comes all the way back around and crosses each other. I thought he was a decent little 8 point, but he's not. He's just a 6, and he's super narrow. All right guys, well this is buck number 2 for me for the year. I shot a little doe at the house the other day, and in the CWD counties in the state of Tennessee, every doe you shoot that you have tested for CWD, they give you an extra buck tag. So I've got 1 more buck tag, and then I'll have to shoot another doe. But for now, I'm pleased just to get another deer on the ground. My goal is just to fill the freezer up, and I've got 2 deer in it, and I'm fixing to put a 3rd one in it now. So I'm gonna take today and tomorrow, get this deer out of here, get it processed, to get it in the freezer, chill out, relax, and then I'll start back hunting again next week. But I will see you in the tree whenever I figure out where I'm going next. Y'all have a good one. It is Monday, December the 2nd, and there is surprisingly a lot of leaves still on the trees in this area. I haven't hunted this stand at all this year. I hung the stand back in August, and it's not set very well. It needs to be facing that way. But when I came in here, it was like 95 degrees, and I just wanted to get it in the tree. Well, now it's 20-something degrees. And it's a great spot, but I wish the stand was facing that way. I wish some of these leaves were gone. I can't see very far at all. I can only see 20 yards that way, but I can see about 40 that way. That's not very good for December. We'll see. The woods are waking up. Alright, well that's deer number one. He walked through. Right here, went in that little hole. Looked like a 3-pointer, 4-pointer or something. Not very big. We get a little bit bigger deer to do the same thing. It's over. It's 7:49 and I've already had 2 bucks in here. That buck's right over there, about 60 yards. That little yearling in this doe snuck in from behind me. And I want to make 2 points while these deer are coming in. And the first is, you're going to notice in a second that these 2 deer are soaking wet. You can see she's kind of slinging the water off there. It is probably, 25, 26 degrees this morning. And these deer just crossed a really big creek to get over on my side of the creek. So the first thing is deer will get in the water and not have a problem no matter how cold it is. The next point I want to make is you'll notice that this deer smells something that's not right. They are dead downwind of me right now. And what you don't see is that 30 minutes before this doe popped out, I had just taken a piss off the stand. And this is an old debate with a lot of hunters. A lot of hunters still use pee bottles. But my buddy turned me on to an article a few years ago where it was studied that it has literally no effect on deer. And on the contrary, if you watch these deer, as opposed to it spooking them, it actually sparked curiosity, and they came in to investigate, and they walked right under my stand and was smelling around where I had just taken a piss. So I can tell you guys without hesitation,
there is no reason to use a pee bottle in a deer stand anymore. We always grew up doing that, and I still know some guys that do it today. It is absolutely pointless to do that now. You guys can leave the pee bottles at home. I promise you it is not going to affect your deer hunting unless they catch you in the act and they're staring at you while you're doing it. It's definitely not a problem. You guys can leave that stuff at home.
Those deer were close. That was a doe and a yearling. Right under the tree. Right under the tree. That looked like 4 or 5 does.
So I didn't end up seeing any other deer on the creek stand, and after a few days of stand hopping on a few different WMAs, I found myself back out into the CRP stand. This is the stand where I'd killed the previous buck, and I didn't have intentions of coming back out to this spot, but the wind was blowing a good direction. My other stands weren't producing very well and had a lot of hunting pressure, and if they didn't have hunting pressure, they had a lot of hogs, and a lot of the hogs tend to push some of the deer out. And so I elected to hunt this stand. But this morning had 20 plus mile-an-hour winds out of the north. It was freezing cold, but this is wintertime hunting, and this was a really beautiful spot to hunt. You would think with this many does around there'd be a mature buck in the area, but I think the bucks aren't moving until the afternoon. Alright, well, I have been surrounded by deer all morning. Most of them have been coming out around those cedar trees. That last one went towards those cedar trees. That one doe, she came right here like 20 yards. So, I know I'm in the deer. I don't know why. That looked like 4 breeding age does, 1 yearling and 1 spike. That's what it looked like. And there's not 1 breeding age buck in here that I've seen, so I'm gonna assume the bucks are here and they just haven't gotten up yet, or they're waiting on something, I don't know. So I'm gonna stay in the stand until 1 p.m. and then I'm gonna get down and I'm gonna go get my other stand. But I'm hoping that between now and 1
whatever mature buck is in here will walk through here, because I haven't seen a single, even like a 2-year-old, nothing. So we'll see. I think the bucks haven't moved yet. I don't think that they've gotten up. I think the does are the only thing that's moved, and there's no way there's that many does and no bucks. That spike doesn't count. So we'll see. All right, guys. Well, it is just after 12. I did not make it quite till 1 o'clock, but I had to get down. This wind is killing. If you want a quick tip for the wind, is wear your rain jacket. It's not as insulated as my camo wintertime jacket, but this blocks the wind, and the wind won't cut me to the bone. So this came in handy today, but that tree has nothing blocking the wind. It just hits you square in the face. So I'd had enough, so I'm down on the ground. I'm gonna make my way to my other stand. It's in the woods. The only thing I don't like is this wind keeps changing directions. Literally every 5 minutes it's blowing a totally different direction. And so I wish it would stabilize, because where I'm going, I'm gonna be really close to where some bucks bed down, and if it shifts the wrong way, I'm probably gonna blow these guys out of here. So I would really like to wrap this deer season up today if I could, and I really only need one more deer, maybe two, but one more buck and one more doe at the most. So I'm fixing to get in this other stand where I saw that little dinky buck, and then I saw that basket rack deer. I don't know whether that was 2 weeks ago or whatever that I was in here, but it's been a minute since I've been in that stand. So that one deer wasn't bad. It wasn't exactly what I'm looking for, but at this point in the season, I need one more deer, so I'm probably not going to be that picky. So if that deer that was in here before pops out right underneath the stand, I'm probably going to take him. He had a pretty big body on him. So anyways, the goal is to fill the freezer, so let's go tag another deer. All right, guys, so we got up here a bit early. It is 12:40 right now, and so we have probably pushing 4.5 hours before it gets dark. Hopefully the deer won't take that long to get here, but if you'll remember, the last time I was here, there was a little small buck right there, like a spike or a 4-point or whatever it was, and then that decent little basket rack deer came from up in that hole, and he went over that way. Well, damn it. A buck came in too fast. I had two does circle around, and the big buck came in, and I had the camera the wrong way. I tried to turn around and get it, and I got him. Here comes the does back. There's 3 of them. Oh, okay, guys, this all caught me off guard. Crazy. So I'm sitting here, and I saw a huge body of a deer going through here. And I tried to turn the camera on, but it was running through the brush so fast. I was just trying to get my scope on it, because it just happened like that. And you can see how tight the cover is in there. Well, you can't hear these deer coming because the wind is blowing so loud. And So the deer go through there, and I turned the camera around, and two does popped out right there. And so I've got the camera on them, and I don't see a buck. And so I blow the grunt call a couple of times. Those does wander off. Another deer pops out right there, and I can see the rack coming through the woods. I'm like, damn it. So I spun this other camera over there. I'm pretty sure it wasn't facing the right direction. I mean, it was facing the right direction, but I don't think it was pointed at the deer. I couldn't get on him fast enough because he was going to be gone. He ran through here to catch up to those does that were already past me. And I shot, and he ran over here, and he stopped right there. And so I shot again, and I'm like, I don't know if I hit him either time or both times or what, but he ran right over there and he stopped again. I tried to get another shot, but there was too much stuff. I couldn't tell what was him and what wasn't. So I'm fixing to get my stuff down on the ground, and I'm gonna walk right over here and see if I see some blood real quick. I'm sorry, I've just totally wrecked the video footage, but I could, man, it's so tight I couldn't get the camera over there. I think I may have gotten him like running past or something, I don't know. But while it's still early enough, I'm gonna get down and go over there and look at him. It looked like a decent 8 or 9. I think he's like a little, I'd say an 8 point. Alright guys, I just left my stuff up in the tree. The deer ran over there. Matter of fact, I think I see him. I'm gonna come over here and see if I see blood, but I think I see him on the ground over there. If I'm not mistaken, I can't tell. Oh yeah, he's dead. I got him. I was gonna come over here and look for blood, but I don't think I got to. I see a white belly from here. Dang. Guys, I'm sorry about the video footage. You know, you try to self-film, and to kill these bigger deer, I usually hunt in stuff like this where it's so thick. I tried to hunt the CRP this morning because if I get a deer, I can record it well. But I knew the bigger deer was over here. It's just harder to make a video, you know? So I came over here because I knew there were some big deer in here. Those giant rubs I saw in here the other day, I knew there was a big deer. Let me see. Where you go? There he is. Yeah, look. I don't know if he looks bigger, but he looks like a nice deer. Look at that. All right, guys, so I don't know where the first shot hit. I'll have to flip him around. I may have missed him. He was running away, so it was almost like Texas heart shot kind of thing. But when he ran back to me, I shot him perfect right behind the shoulder there. Let me pull him around and I'll show him to you. All right, so he's not overly wide. He's real tight, but he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That might count as 8, but he tried to have one here, tried to have one there, tried to have one here. He looks like he's busted off, but that's my biggest deer for the year. Again, I'm not a trophy hunter, but if you hunt long enough, eventually a trophy will come out on you. And this is my best deer for the year. I'm happy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm fixing to get this guy out to the truck. I'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a good one.